All right, hello, all of you lovely supporters of RPGs Uncovered. We are here for the first episode, the first after show for our Locus demo play miniseries for Iron, Coke, and Conscience. A Locus story. So we have just finished episode 1. Very, very typical first act of a horror show, horror movie, horror book, whatever it would be. Introduction of the characters, setting little hints to see if they're gonna turn on each other, increasing the tension, alluding to some of the mystery that has gone on. We've seen some creepy characters. They skirted around a confrontation with some possibly demonic puppers, and then tried to leave the Malice Locus, and it wouldn't let them. So it was quite an interesting episode. I would love to hear your feedback if it went too slowly, or if you would want anything else from it. But I think it was a nice introduction to our little horror mini-series. And as we've already seen, things are starting to kick off. There was a big explosion. They cannot leave, and something seems to be willing them here. Perhaps the now smoking steelworks just off on the horizon. So let's talk with these awesome, wonderful people who created the most endearing trash people ever. First of all, thank you all for joining me for another season. All three of you have been on here before, so if you've been supporting for a while, you should see some familiar faces. You guys are fantastic. You are so creative. You are really helping me move through this in such a wonderful way, and I really appreciate you going out of your way and playing against your wonderful nature to be just so horrible. So let's start off this after show with a real simple question that I like to ask all of my games, whether they're on air or not. Everyone have fun? Everyone doing good? Everyone enjoying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%.
All right.
Yeah, it's fun to be a jerk.
Yes. And we're going to have to explore that because you guys are getting up there in cards. And the only way to reduce your hand size, which is important because things are going to start getting dangerous the further down you go, the more cards in your hand that you have. The only way to get rid of cards is to, do something helpful or nice or play towards your virtue. Or at least solve some major crisis point, mystery point in the story. But helping each other out is going to be one of the few ways that you can actually get rid of, especially haunt cards. So we'll see if I can really turn you guys against each other, or if you'll rally and help support each other. We'll see. Any projections towards that, in fact? Where are we standing as a group with these three individuals?
So it's really funny. I have a lot to say about the birth of Chad, which I'll get to a little later on. But what I find really interesting is, so as we sat down and built these characters together, Chad was like this idea I had, and the idea of the community was obviously like his virtue, very obvious, very clearly. But even I was kind of shocked at how all-encompassing it kind of has become for his personality, and how much it has become this thing that he has to do. And so I'm really excited and curious to see what, if anything, breaks that. Because without spoiling anything or giving anything away, a lot of him as a bad person is really tied to that also. So I'm really curious to see what can, if anything, be the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back and makes that shift of, well, fuck y'all then.
Oh, I have thoughts on that. I think I know exactly what the breaking point is going to be, but we'll see if it plays out that way.
Well,
So
yeah.
Especially since we have Roman, who has... I was looking at somebody else here. Yeah, Roman will be an interesting character, probably on the card the best to support Chad, but we'll see. Laura, on the other hand, is almost the complete opposite of Chad's virtue of compassion, with a haunt of sabotage, as we've alluded to already in that dreamscape.
Roman's compassion, Chad is community.
Yeah, because
True. Yeah.
Laura's is
Mixed up.
like the umbrella term is discord, but I was reading it, and a lot of it was just resonating with me with the idea of someone being just like everyone for themselves. This is a world where everyone has to look out for themselves, and that's very much how Laura operates. She was going to protect herself first. I've been taking a lot of like minor actions in tune with her virtue, but nothing I really felt like was pitch a card worthy, because her virtue of motivation just means that, like, I mean, as a player, I want my character to be motivated anyway, so the story keeps moving. So it's like, there haven't been any moments where it's like, no, Laura is the one pushing us to get shit done. It's just like, no, Laura is the one declaring that we're going to leave tomorrow, that we're going to walk if we have to. Laura is the one getting a weapon first. Like, taking decisive action is actually pretty easy, because it's also part of, you know, doing an AP. Like, being part of a streamed AP means having a certain degree of motivation.
Oh, yeah.
And so that aspect of Laura's character has actually been very easy for me to embody. So I've got to start paying attention to see if there are places where I can be pitching cards.
Yeah. And I think specifically we're gonna see more of that in the future, because I think a virtue of motivation is not just motivating yourself, but being able to motivate yourself despite what they want to do. Like if you decide that you are going to split off, or if they are, you know, getting worn down and you motivate them and motivate the entire group, I think would be two excellent examples of playing towards that virtue in a meaningful way. So we'll see where the thin line between keeping the group together and tearing the group apart, you know, meets at a head.
Yeah. I tried to motivate them to walk past the man, but they went. They talked to the man, and I did not want them to.
Listen. Chandler talked to the man.
I didn't want any more talking to the man.
Chandler had to talk to the man. It was important. It was very important business.
Not important.
It was so important. He said so much.
He said the same shit.
Sometimes you have to repeat yourself. Just how the world works. He's old. He probably forgot.
One of the questions that I know Jeff usually asks the STE group, and one of the questions I've taken from that is if you would do anything differently, and I would definitely have gotten myself more in character with that old man, gotten a better accent for old Appalachian man, and then really driven home what I wanted to get out from that character. I think I got out just about everything I wanted to get out, but I didn't feel the performance the way I get from some of my NPCs.
Horrible man.
He is an old bastard. So I'm glad that that came through. That's easy to portray. Yeah.
I thought he was really. I think you did a well. I can speak words. I think you did a good job. I really thought that it was really well done, because it wasn't super heavy-handed. And a character like that, specifically like that, is so easy to end up being too heavy-handed on, because you need that subtlety so that you can come back later and have the moment we had at the end, where it's like, yep, told you it was gonna happen.
Yep.
And you want to wind up to that, and you want people to know what's coming, but you don't want to just like shove it in people's faces.
Right.
And I think you cut that really good balance with it. I really appreciated it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Another insight I will give our audience. Every supporter on Ko-Fi gets this. I'll talk more about this when I drop my GM notes. But one of my ideas for this episode was actually the encounter with the dogs. Was going to chase you towards Sheriff, and Sheriff help and intervene and help drive them off or fight them off, which would introduce that character. And that cat came up, or Laura came up, all 5'0" of her, and shooed these dogs away, which I think was a great character building experience, and I would not change if we did this again. I thought that was great. But you did not meet Sheriff just yet, though I think that was a number of decisions on your part to forego pursuing Sheriff in exchange for other things like leaving and hunkering down and whatnot.
Yeah, I think
I was
going more for naturalism than for advancing the narrative in that.
Yeah, and I do want to take a moment and say that I think that moment of Laura stepping in front of the dogs and dealing with it that way was such a perfect introduction to Laura, that first like big Laura moment.
Yeah.
And I thought it was exactly what needed to happen, And I was sitting here hoping the dice were gonna work out the right way because it was so perfect. Oh, so good.
I'm so
What
glad.
a Laura moment.
Because when I was building this character, I was like, I think one of the defining things about Laura is that there's a huge discontent. Well, Laura's me expressing some things about being a femme person, which is to say, no matter how brutal a motherfucker you are on the inside, social pressures to maintain a veneer of civility are so intense on us. And so I was like, what happens when somebody who is like as aggressive, as temperamental, and as courageous as these frat boys, but has been pushing it down due to social conditioning, gets put in a scary town? And the answer is she has no time for it. And so that was very fun for me. It was I really liked yelling at the dog.
No, that was great.
Yeah, I love that.
No, I'm sitting here nodding at the exact opposite of that, and the pressure put on men to be manly and tough and whatnot. Not trying to step in any shoes that I don't fit in.
No. But it's like, but yeah, we've all kind of got these social pressures, and if you don't fit the mold that you're told you have to fit, that's a cause of friction and frustration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm much more comfortable in my skin than I was when I was Laura's age. But it's like, I just want to tell a story of an absolutely brutal motherfucker of a person.
And we love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will have opportunity to see that. But we only have so much time in this after show because we do have a hard cutout.
Speaking of gender pressures, little Lord Fauntleroy, I love Roman in action. He is so dainty and so wonderful.
Facts.
I will say that was something I also really loved about Laura stepping in, is like, you have Roman who's been leading and guiding the group, and then when faced with danger, he's like, nope, I'm out, like, not gonna have any of it, and then 5 foot Laura's like, that's fine, I'm jumping in.
Yeah, leave this one to me.
I want to say that I deeply appreciate, and I'll keep it short because I know we're short on time, but I deeply appreciate the way that these characters have been presented today, where, again, with no spoilers, it's hard, I feel like, looking at it from the outside in, to be like, okay, so Laura is a fucking monster. Roman is clearly, manipulative.
Yeah, very.
A little sleazy.
Chad
with icing
sucks.
on top.
Yeah. Chad kind of sucks and is annoying, but why is he here with, like, what is going on? And I'm so excited for that. I love that. I love that he is still kind of just the dumb, lovable dog right now.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to follow that.
Yep.
Is it a spoiler to say who we think is the worst child?
No.
I'm cool with it
Yeah.
if y'all are.
Chad.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't want to say it, but I wholeheartedly agree. That's why I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Chad is the worst of them, and it's not even close.
No, he's not a lovable little doggo. He's a sick puppy.
No.
He is a sick
All
puppy.
right.
Roman is the good boy.
100%.
Roman is the angel.
I don't know if I would go that far. I would not
No.
go
I don't think we have any angels in
no,
this
no,
group.
no. There are no angels here. None.
There are no angels here.
That angel fell and caught fire a few times on the way down.
He's a perfect, delicate little prince.
That is what he presents.
Yep.
That is what he
Protect
presents.
him. I also love being like, are you gonna help me push your car? Like,
No, I'm not. I'm not getting my hands dirty.
yeah, it was.
Who do you
Yeah,
think
I love
I
it.
am?
Yeah, I love the answer to that was, Chad, come on, will you just...
That's what the help is for.
No hesitation. Come on, Chad, quit fucking around. Yeah, we know this already. Come on.
They're codependent little bromance.
Yep.
I'm so excited to see it tested.
Yeah, same.
I am too.
They each hang out with each other for very specific reasons.
Yeah. I love their very codependent relationship. Like, we knew that the boys had a relationship, like the boys were closer friends kind of than Laura was with them. But like the nature of their codependency has really come out in play, and I've loved seeing it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
And that's why I can't wait until certain revelations happen.
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Yep.
good.
That's
Oh
gonna-
man,
so
it's gonna
good
be
and
so
brutal.
good.
Push it together
my
and rip it
goodness.
apart.
Boys, the
Yeah.
The boys.
Love it. All right. So you guys have done a fantastic job of answering most of the questions I was going to ask anyway. So let's end off with this one. What is motivating your character most at this moment? Going into the next episode.
Let's go. Heartbreak answer. Finding a way to get him and his friends out of this nightmare situation they're in. That's
All right.
Chad's motivation.
Just on it. I think like civilization. I think genuinely, no word of exaggeration, Laura would knife a person for a shower right now.
Valid.
That is very fair, and I don't think. I think Roman would be on the same page as Laura with that. I think for him, it's also now there's like a level of spite. Seeing the condition that his car was in, like he's gonna make it through this because he needs to follow through on the promises / threats he made at the end there. And that's what's keeping him going.
I loved the way that whole we ended the episode with that. It was so
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun building up what's going on in this town. So I can't wait to see you guys poke at this facade and see what's underneath, because I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it.
I can't wait to rip some dogs' throats out with my teeth.
I can't wait to see our facades start to drop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, it's only going to get dirtier before any of you get any bit cleaner, because we're not even at the steelworks yet.
Oh no!
So, we're going to wrap up here. That is our time. I hope this was a fun little character insight, some little GM insights. More to come throughout the weeks as we continue to do these. More to come with character bios and character sheets and my own notes coming up soon. So thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome people. It means so much that you enjoy the content enough to help support the show monetarily. And if you could, go out and tell people about it. If you love us that much that you're giving us dollars, go tell other people about it. Give us some good words. Go out, shout it into the streets, mow it into lawns, whatever you need to do. Get some more people into the enjoyment and our TTRPG horizons and all that.
If you mow it into lawns, maybe you can do like a thing where you post it on social media and hashtag RPG's Uncovered Lawn Day or something.
Yeah. There you go.
Hashtag RPG Topiaries. Whatevs. Would
Yeah.
be cool. Would
Yeah.
be cool. Please make it happen.
Yep.
We would love to see that.
Drop those hashtags, send me those pictures, and character art is always super fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, you three, for being lovely, wonderful people, playing lovely, wonderful trash people. I will see all of you next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep having fun, keep checking back here, heart tomatoes, all of that. Happy time zone. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.